What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some more Watcher of Realms, and today we're going to do some summons here on the Epic Only account. We've got quite a few to do, actually. We're going to not just do our blues, because we do have like 112 blues with 22,000 diamonds. So we've got around, 350-ish summons we could pull that way. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them all. We might. We'll kind of see how that goes. But we also have 31 Divines and 40 Ancient summons to pull. We'll probably pull the Divines last, just because I do have a couple more Divines that I'll get out of the Spiritual Altar reward. So I'll go ahead and just get those, and then we'll do those at the end. But lots of summons to do. We're not probably going to go after the Wukong banner, simply because we don't need Wukong here. He is cool, he is limited, and I really, honestly, I still toy with the idea of trying to swap over like a pity timer just to see if we can get him. So I'm thinking we'll probably run like 100 blues here just to do it, because we're fresh off a pity. I think we just got like a legendary on the last summon that we did. Yeah, Arrogance is like the last hero we got. So we are still 200 summons away from a pity timer. I don't want to spend 200 summons here, because I do not want 200 summons worth of Toad Bro. We've got plenty of Toad Bros, don't need more Toad Bros. But I do need some Vortex, right? That would be great to get a bunch of his copies, get this guy to A5. Even some Soleil copies would not be bad. I'd like to get her to A5 as well, because I do plan on building her. But maybe we'll drop like 100 here. See, we might get a legendary right off rip. If we get legendaries where we can't like guarantee a 200 flip, I'm not going to swap over and try to grab a Wukong. I'll just keep pulling here. If we get 100 deep and we do not get a legendary, I'll probably swap over, run the next 100 here just to guaranteed get one, because he is cool, he is limited, why not have one? But that said, we're going to jump in, start our 10 pulls, first one up. Let's see what we get. We get a legendary right off the bat. No, it's going to be a food pull. That's okay. We do need plenty of diamonds, and after we do all these summons, we could sell off all of our rares and like keep pulling the blues. I don't really see a reason to do that unless we get like absolutely no epics that we need. Maybe we'll keep going a little bit. But I would hope that, oh look, there we go. First banner pull of the deal. Already got one. Bam. Snag this guy out. New hero. Take that 50 diamonds. Hit the back button. There we go. But yeah, if we don't get a lot of Vortexes, because he's kind of like my main goal here is to get a bunch of him, then we will double pull. Look at that. That's crazy. Been cool to get 3 of those or something. But yeah, he's the big goal. I want to get mine to A5. It makes him a way better healer. But grabbing some of these guys on the side isn't a bad deal. I do need these dudes for like the faction trials. So even if they're not like super good, like all around heroes, for this account, being that I can only use epics and below heroes, anything that has a faction, it can be useful to me. So we'll probably end up using this guy later in the game to try to make progress down there. If you don't know about him, he's not too insane to my knowledge. Does do AoE magic damage though, which is kind of interesting. And as a defender, he does block 3 naturally, so he will hit everyone that he's blocking. Not a bad deal. And he also does damage based on his health. That's what his ult is all about. Kind of interesting. So you kind of build him tanky. I would say he's probably a really good candidate for the Glacier set, because that would get him a bunch of health if you build it obviously with HP, but it'd also turn around and give him some attack so that these AoE attacks aren't completely meaningless. So that could be something. Also, he inflicts magical vulnerability on people with his ult, which is a great thing to have. So either way, there we go. Got a couple of those right off rip. Love to see it. Continue on. We might just pull all of our blues that we have down here. Just kidding. We're gonna get a legendary freaking like 30 summons deep. That makes it very... Wukong might just be off the table. Oh, are you kidding me? Wait. I think I've already got a Twyla. Am I on drugs? 'Cause I'm pretty sure I've already got one of this chick. Does it give you the video every time you get one? Even if you already have them? I don't know. I'm actually kind of confused, because I am 100... Yeah, we've already got a Twyla. Because we got one during the Twyla event where my main wanted one and I didn't get one. And this account, of course, not only pulls one, but pulls a copy. So that's great. Love to see that. So, I don't know. Wukong might just be off the table. I don't want to, like, push my summons out too far and then, not have... I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll see. We'll see what we want to do. I'm not going to commit to anything quite yet. I skipped 30 summons deep already getting legendary heroes. I wish my main had this kind of luck where I was just dropping the heroes like that. That'd be awesome. So we got another Cyclone. Overall, this dude seems pretty dookie in most cases. The only thing that I think might be some kind of saving grace for him is he does have a knockback, so there's a potential use for him in Gear Dungeon 2. I doubt it'll be that good. I'll probably just end up using Wrath in his spot anyways. But maybe, I don't know. Could be we could use him here on the Epics only to try to make progress there. Or is it Gear Dungeon? Yeah, it's Gear Dungeon 2. To boot back that little Spectre. But other than that, I don't really see a great use for him in pretty much any content. So he's not someone I'm super hyped about getting. He's just another Epic. If we get more copies of him, we can just sell him off for purple stuff. That won't bug me at all. But what I'm really hoping for is some Vortex copies. So go ahead and double flip this. Gonna be a food pull. We're what, 70 summons deep already? And we got ourselves another Perpski. This time, it's gonna be a Vortex. I believe it in my heart, so it must be true. Is it true? It's not true, but it's okay, because it is Salil. I think I've got her to A3. I'm not a hundo on that, but I do want to get her to A5. Being able to bounce multiple times on the same target does seem pretty cool. I do want to test that out and see just how it works, so that's going to be a plan for the future. Might end up using her in some of my guild boss teams because, I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly how many epics I'm going to have for straight boss DPS, and she might be one of the few that I have access to. So, bam. Another 10 drop here, looking like we're getting you are kidding me. There we go. All right, so we haven't even got through our first 100 summons yet. We've already pulled 2 legendary heroes. One of them, of course, is the banner hero Aeris. This guy does look pretty cool, not gonna lie about things. That does blow my mind. You gotta be kidding me. Anyways, this is the new Bird Bro Aeris here. Looks kind of cool, kind of like, I don't know, maybe Egyptian style-ish, I guess. But the one downside I see to him is he has an enormous cost. 26 cost to put down. That's got to be like the highest cost fighter in the game. However, he does seem to kind of make up for that. He has a lot of AoE damage, a very large range for an attacker, which is great. It's AoE magic damage as well. This is useful in things like Gear Raid 1. You're going to need AoE magic damage for sure. Gear Dungeon 1, AoE magic damage again, a very big deal there. The fact that he does like a bunch of this with tons of extra damage, this is nice, right? This is good. Very, very expensive here to put down, though. The Mighty Thrust, I guess, is just an instant attack that includes airborne units, which is kind of cool. And then every 5 basic attacks, he does another one. 200% damage on that. Pretty crazy amount of damage there. His ultimate, is it ultimate or his passive? Yeah, something like targets people all the way across the map. I don't know. We'll read through this real quick. It boosts his damage by up to 60% when you bump him up. Boosts his attack range by 1 as well. So this is kind of similar to Valkyra. Valkyra, I don't know, whatever her name is. She also gets a large attack range, which is nice. His basic attack can target airborne units during his ult. That's pretty cool. Never a bad deal. Reduces the number of basic attacks it requires to trigger his talent by 2. That means every 3 attacks he's popping one of those big boys. And then the ultimate's area effect turns into Golden Trammel, which reduces movement speed of the affected enemies. That's pretty nice. So you get a slow on people coming towards him. And he's going to be hitting them very, very hard quite often, which is great. This must be the passive. During his ultimate, he triggers Destiny's Decree 1 time every 5 seconds. This is going to lock onto one enemy anywhere on the battlefield. So, not even in his attack range, just anywhere. And it's also going to do AoE damage to that target and up to 5 enemies around that target for 100% AoE magic damage once you get it upgraded. Every 4 seconds when it's max upgraded. That's pretty nasty. So even as a fighter, he can hit anywhere on the map, which is pretty cool. I do like that. It's a pretty solid deal. Here we go. Every time he does his Mighty Thrust, which is his talent proc, it's going to increase his attack by 6% for 10 seconds. Each time Destiny's Decree is triggered, it increases his attack by 6% for 10 seconds, and those can stack. They also go up to 10%, so I'm not sure how, is it just, I guess it's going to be 20% attack bonus. It doesn't say how many stacks you can have, so I'm guessing it's just 1. So you get 10% for 10 seconds for Mighty Thrust, and then 10% for 10 seconds in Destiny's Decree. So that's a pretty big attack bonus anyways, especially if he's probably got a fairly decent attack stat, doesn't he? Yeah, 5,000. That's a pretty solid basic attack. I mean, it's not Wukong levels of attack, still pretty good, especially for a hero that natively does AoE damage. That's not bad at all. So, pretty cool. We're not going to use him, obviously, over here. Take a quick gander at the old Awakens just for funsies. Basic attack range by 1, so that's pretty much the same A1 that Valkyria has, just to get his basic attack to attack as far as his ult does. His Golden Trammel, which is when he pops that ult, he gets that little AoE slow, is also going to put damage reduction 20% on the enemies. That's great. Not being hit as hard is never a bad deal. Some flat attack, also not bad. During the ultimate, his Mighty Thrust deals an extra 100% damage one time. That's disgusting. 8% penetration, always a good deal. Never a bad deal to have more penetration power. Mighty Thrust and Destiny's Decree also ignore 20% of the target's magic resistance. Again, really solid looking DPS hero. I would love to see what he's capable of. Hopefully the main will snag one of these guys out so we can build him up and try him. But really cool to grab one here. I do like the way he looks. Pretty cool looking hero. Moving on. Another perp ski. We'll get a Vortex here eventually. It's got to happen, right? No, it doesn't have to happen, but it will happen. Okay, it doesn't have to happen, but it's going to happen eventually. So we've already got this guy up to, what, A2? Another Kalina copy. I'll probably only ever use her in, like, Void Rift, I'm guessing, for that true damage buff that she has. Maybe in a Simra team for Guild Boss 2, just because, again, that true damage can be kind of nice, especially in his phase 2 where he gets a lot of defense. I can't really pull those defense buffs off of him, so maybe Kalina's an answer to kind of DPS through that phase. I don't know. We'll see. Drop ourselves another 10 piece here. See what we get. Sip some coffee. Looks like a food pull. Double flip that. And drop ourselves another 10 in its place. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better. And it is going to go better. Alright, so we've only made it through what? This is like 100 summons, I think. Voroth. I've never built Voroth, but I do think he is someone I'm going to have to build eventually. Maybe just for like any area I need extra AoE damage. Because he does have a fair amount of it in his kit. Anytime he's attacked, he has a chance to do them. Plus, for an epic hero, he has really high base attack. He actually has higher base attack than Aeris does. Which is interesting, but of course, he's not really like straight AoE. Not every attack is going to be an AoE attack. It's kind of a special thing that when he gets attacked, he can do that. But honestly, really high base stats, that's nice. Huge amounts of attack speed, so I don't know. Might build this guy up, see what he's capable of. I already have Isolde for the Northern Lord, so getting his Awakens will be kind of nice. I'm kind of curious how this specialized attack speed actually works. Because I'm not sure, like, 'cause once you get around like 500 attack speed kind of caps off for most heroes, it feels like you're not getting much of a reduction, and it's really hard to get your attack speed past that point anyways. You need a ton of attack speed to get beyond 500, like to get that 600 level. It needs to be like on every substat you can get it on, which is crazy. But I'm kind of worried, I'm not worried, I'm kind of curious how this guy's works. He doesn't have a crazy high attack interval, it's not like the fastest, but getting him to like 400 or 500 attack speed, I wonder if that just cuts this in half or if it actually goes much lower. Be something to test and see on. His Awakens, he has a better chance to trigger that Whirlwind Slash for AoE damage, which is great. 5% attack, never a bad deal. When he triggers Whirlwind Slash, he heals. That's kind of nice. Anytime you can get a fighter with a bit of self-sustain in their kit, it takes a small burden off your healers, which is a great thing. So that's kind of cool. 10% HP. This is actually kind of an interesting Awaken. I kind of like that, because I may need someone really tanky for Artifact Material Raid. That Artifact Material Raid 18 is no joke. That boss absolutely smashes my dudes like super duper hard. Moving on. Anyway, when he's shielded, he doubles the chance of an extra basic attack and Whirlwind Slash. So he'll have a 30% chance, I believe, to do a second attack. Yeah, so that's pretty much what Estrid's is. Plus, he'll also have a doubled chance to do this as well, which I believe is a 50% chance. Because he has a 10% chance here, plus 15 here, and you double that. So that's pretty interesting. Might be 40, though. I'm not sure how that works. If it's going to add that in as a secondary, or it's going to double this and then add that. Not sure how it works. Either 40 or 50% chance it seems he's going to have for AoE damage. But there we go. We got ourselves a Voroth. We are now out of our blues. Well, pretty much. Now we're out of our blues. Bam. Moving on to the diamonds portion of the summons. I'm probably just going to burn most of them. And I can't believe I haven't gotten a Vortex yet. I pulled 2 legendary heroes, no Vortexes, right? We did get another Ardeth and another Solil, though, so I think she's probably sitting, if not at A5, she's A4, which is great. I do want to get her maxed out. Ardeth, already got this guy to A3. From never having one to having plenty of them, that's okay with me. We will end up using him someday, most likely. Food pull. Double flip that, not too worried about it. I could go through, I'm not going to probably sell off all my rares and keep pulling. I just don't feel like that's probably a great idea. We can save for another banner that's got good epics that we need. I would love to see a banner pop up for Deimos. That would be really nice. Although, it doesn't seem like you're guaranteed to get the banner heroes. Oh, is that 3 food pulls in a row? Ugh. But yeah, we're coming up on like 200 summons deep and still no Vortex. Is that 4 food summons in a row? Ew. That's disgusting. Why would you do that to me, game? That hurts my heart in many, many ways. That just means this one's going to be a legendary pull. That's just got to be, that's just RNG balance and back out. Just kidding, it's going to be purples. But it's okay. Like I said, we've already pulled our legendaries long before we should have. So I'm not going to be like, oh no. Not that it matters in this account, but we did already get them. Another Voroth. I don't know how many of this guy I've got. This is either going to be A2 or A3, which is nice. Never bad to get copies of dudes that I will probably for sure end up using. Let's keep going here. Drop another 10 piece. And there we go. Got ourselves some purples again. This time Vortex. No. No, double Soleil. So we've definitely got this lady A5, no doubt about it. Maybe even an extra copy to sell off for purple bits, but that's good. We'll get her built up, use her probably in the Infernal faction, because I do need some help down there. That's a pretty tough faction trial for me. There we go. It's about time. I was starting to worry if you were just not going to pop up at all there, big dog. So I don't know if I've got my Vortex awakened at all. I may have one awaken on him, but I do want to make sure I get these. They're just really good. The third one here, boosting his healing multiplier on platform units, is great for keeping your squishier units alive. Plus, it also helps them get that little overheal and shield popping, which gives them kind of extra health as well, which is great. The rage regen, again, also super nice. Get that ult back faster. And then giving him 10% more, I guess, shielding with his little passive here, his little healing ripple, is pretty great. So, bam, bam, this is nice. Got ourselves at least one copy, that's great. Another Harpin. I want to say Harpoon, probably. I don't know. I want to say we've got like 3 of this dude already. I've never built one, but I actually don't think he's going to be that bad of a hero. I've talked about him before a little bit. I feel like he's kind of slept on. He has a bit of an execute ability here, dealing extra damage to people with low health, which is never a bad thing. Also, he has like an auto-targeting ult that comes out relatively fast. Like, that's a pretty quick popping ult. I feel like with Soulbound Arcana, he probably would be popping this and getting like an insane amount of damage built up very quickly, which is pretty cool. And then if he kills somebody with his ult, which he will get relatively often, it boosts his attack speed, makes him attack faster, deals more damage, gets his ult back faster, kind of chains together. But the big thing that kind of works with him is his A1 and A5 together are really nice. His A1, he ignores defense, which is great, that's always nice. But his A5, because it's only when he's shielded, his A5 essentially guarantees he has a shield at all times. Right, as long as he's attacking somebody, if you have him built with, you know, crit, which you should, he will always have a shield up, which means he will always be ignoring 30% of the target's defense, and that does seem pretty solid to me. Not really sure what his stats look like when maxed. Not a crazy high attack, that's fairly low. That's like on, I think, Eadril's kind of level, but it's only a single attack. Either way, he seems like he could be someone we'll use. Northern faction, use him in faction trials for sure. With that defense ignoring though, maybe use him in guild bosses, see what he kind of can put out later. Not a super high priority build, but I think he's someone that could bring something to the table later on. Let's go ahead and continue on here. Dropping another 10 piece straight into another purple. Love to see it. Now it's time to get all of our Vortex copies, or not. We will get a Draga. I think I already have her on the account. Clearly I do, or it would have gave me a new hero thing. Not sure if I'll end up using her too often. I might, maybe in Nightmare faction trials, because you do need some tanks there. That actually gets really hard. Like Nightmare, I think it's 10, 9 or 10. That faction trial gets real very quickly. It goes from being very easy to like freakishly hard. But either way, we've got her. She's a defense-based damage dealer, so all that gear that my hoarding mindset's like, ooh, this could be good for a defense-based damage dealer, even though there's like 2 of them in the game that I've been storing away, I've got somebody to put them on, and that's great. So we may end up building her. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a right away kind of thing, so I feel like she's more of a niche hero, but we could build her, and the more copies we get, the better she's going to be when we test her, and that's always great. Here we go, another 10 piece looking like a food pool. Go ahead and just double flip skis like that. Do it again. Hopefully don't get another 4 food pulls in a row, because that would definitely hurt my heart a little bit. But we are getting our purples, and I like to see the purples. I would love to see like some Mauls and Deimoses, just as random purple drops jumping in here. That would make me happy. Estrid, that kind of hurts to see. I think I've already got mine to A5. She was a super freak beast of a hero. If you don't know about Estrid, really, really solid. She pretty much like soloed Gear Raid 1 18 for me, which was nice. But yeah, she has a pretty good chance of triggering 2 strikes in a row, which is great. Build her with some attack speed, she can really just kind of lawn mow people. Her ultimate gives her a huge amount of AoE damage, which is awesome. Also boosts her attack speed, which is great. Puts defense reduction on people she attacks, even with her ultimate. That's really nice. It means she hits harder. And I want to say it's her A3. She does get a basic attack range boost, which is great too. But yeah, she has a 25% chance of landing 2 strikes with her ultimate as well. And that is absolutely devastating. You will just chew through people with her. It's kind of disgusting. But she also gets a cheaper cost, so she's only a 14 cost at a 16. Pretty nice. And then she actually gets some better rage regen against penetrated enemies, which is also pretty good. So I'm kind of debating if I want to build my Estrid with like an insane amount of attack speed and rage regen to really just chain ults as fast as possible. Because in some content of the game, like Gear Dungeon 1 for example, AoE damage is huge. Maybe it's Gear Dungeon 2 I'm thinking about here, where you're doing physical damage. That's probably what it is. But yeah, the AoE damage she can put out is enormous. It actually can wipe out full waves of those like little sycophant dudes that split into like 8 people. She can completely clean that out by herself, which is really, really nice. So I do think building her really, really well later on in the game and getting that rage regen on her could be a big deal. But we've already got her A5, so it's not a huge pull, but she's a really good hero. So if you snag one of those out, she is very useful. Even as an epic hero, like don't underestimate her. She is pretty solid. Got ourselves another food pull here. Just go ahead and double flip that and move on and drop another one here. I'm not sure how many summons we are towards a pity. We've got to be relatively close. I would assume we'll end up getting 3 legends because we'll definitely go to the next pity time. We've got over 100 summons left to go here, but probably won't push too far after that. Not that I really need legend. Look at these food pulls. That's just terrible RNG. 3 in a row. We had 4 in a row earlier. I don't think I've ever seen a 4 pulls in a row not bring at least a purple. But here we go. We got ourselves a legendary hero yet again. And who's it going to be? Is it going to be an Aeris copy? It is not. Oh, it's going to be Valkyra. Well, that's cool. I mean, like I said, we can't use her, but she's definitely a cool hero. I use her on the main in quite a few places. I definitely need a better build on her, though. Mine's not super great. That's kind of the problem, though. Like, you do all these summons, you get tons of cool heroes, and then you need tons of good gear to put on all these good heroes, and that's the hard part, right? Getting all that gear is what's tough. Slurp me some coffee. Let this play out. She's got kind of a long video, doesn't she? You know, that would be a cool effect when she res, though. If she did blow everybody back and deal damage to them, that would be kind of cool. I would like that. She does not do that. False advertising. What kind of shots are you going to get? Going to some legs? Going to get some straight up belly button? Got to get it. Oh, they went back to the belly button. One shot wasn't enough. You got to get 2 shots. But there we go. Boop. Got a Valky. She's pretty cool. We obviously won't use her, but very cool hero. We'll talk about her just for a hair. We need to kind of already talk about her a little bit because she has a similar-ish kit to Aeris, but not at all. Not at all the same. Long attack range. Kind of the same as Aeris' base, and her First Awaken does increase that by 1, which does bring her back to like the same as her ultimate, because her ultimate will extend that range. But it's AoE magic damage, which is great. You love AoE magic damage on fighters. It's nice. Much cheaper than Aeris to deploy by 6. It's actually a pretty fair amount of cost. Her ultimate boosts her damage. The one thing that's kind of weird about her is that she consumes shield to boost her attack range, attack speed, and damage. The downside is you don't really have a great way of getting shields on her reliably by herself unless you have her exclusive artifact, which I don't have. So it does make her ult a little bit less powerful until you can get that, or you can get a way to guaranteed give her shields constantly. So running Vortex with her, for example, and making sure that he's healing her and overhealing her. Yeah. But either way, solid, very solid ult. Boost her attack for every 17 seconds up to 8 times, and the effect lasts permanently. The interval does go down to, I think, 14 seconds with a 5% attack boost, which is pretty nice. That's a pretty healthy amount of damage, so the longer she's on the field, the more damage she deals. Pretty solid. And then when someone dies in her attack range, she will revive that unit and restore 50% of the health. Once you max this out, is a 100% health regen. They'll pop up with full health. You see her a lot in Guild v Guild for this to re-heal like a tank that's died or something. It only happens 1 time per deployment. It does not work on herself, so she can't revive herself, just other people. What is it? Her cost goes down? Yeah, her cost in the arena goes down by 5. She's a 15 cost in the arena. So you see her there also, but very solid hero, pretty good. She got, I think, reworked a little bit ago. I think they buffed her last awaken here. Some attack boost is always great. Damage increase based on shield, plus 50%. Again, no great way of getting shields on her by herself without her exclusive artifact. You do need another hero to do that for her, which is a bit annoying. Some crit rate, never a bad deal, but this one got boosted. Before, when she revives an ally, the ally got this damage increase, which is a 100% damage increase. It's pretty good for 10 seconds. This helped them kind of clear out somebody that was obviously murking them before, but now she also gets it as well. So she buffs her own damage by 100%, and since normally if she's reviving this person, she's also attacking the people attacking that person, she can do some serious work when that happens. So there we go. Got ourselves a Valk. We do have another 100 summons here at least to pull, so we'll go ahead and do it. I could swap over to Wukong's, but being that we only got one Vortex copy, I'm just going to keep pulling here and hope we can get another one. I'd love to get him. Oh, there's an AI. And there's a Brienne. Well, that's not bad either. Both of those very good heroes. I'm not sure what my Awaken level is on her here, but I will end up using her, of course. She's a lot of good hard crowd control. The downside is she's a high attack interval, 5 seconds, one of the higher in the game. You can get that down to 2.5 seconds, which is nice. But even when you do that, these crystal bombs take a while to grow. They don't just grow immediately when she throws them out. So it starts growing, then it becomes a crystal bomb. And then if she keeps attacking that crystal bomb, and that's where her attack speed gets more important, is once she has her crystal bombs out, then she can enhance them and do buttloads of damage with them. Once she's awakened 3 times, these crystal bombs not only deal very heavy damage, they also deal damage to additional targets. So they become AoE explosions and not just single target explosions, which is really nice. The rage regen gets her ult back faster, and then she gets a little bit longer of a freeze on her ice. Really solid. Pretty reasonable cost, I would say. Most of your mages that do or have potential to do AoE or crowd control do get a little bit higher in the cost range. Pretty solid hero. Also has a very wide attack range, which is nice. That there's a big like vortex and whatnot, so that wide attack, which is great. Lots of tiles she can cover to freeze, which is good. Boom, there we go, got her. And then Brienne. Brienne's our little mini Hatset over here. We obviously can't use Hatset. She was very instrumental in me clearing Gear Raid 319. Without her, doubt we could have pulled it off. She was my right side unit to clear with those enemies. But really solid. Does extra damage to airborne units, makes sense. Also does an extra hit on airborne units, which is really nice. Her ult is a little bitty AoE like shotgun blast that she does like 5 times or 6 times, which is good. And then she has a split shot as well, where she gets an extra arrow that kind of breaks off the main arrow and does bonus damage, which is great as well. For Awakens, they boost her penetration, so when she does her ultimate, she goes through a lot of defense. That's really solid, actually. Attack percent, never bad. Split shot damage goes up, so her arrows, when they split, do more. Always good. Kind of gives her a little bit of an AoE feel to her. Some crit rate, never bad. And then her split shot increases by 1, so she gets an extra arrow in that. Really solid for an epic hero. Glad to grab copies of her. Definitely want her A5'd. She will be instrumental, I believe, in us pushing further into Gear Raid 3 and probably in a lot of other content as well. Go ahead and double flip this. Going to be a food pull. Continue on. We still got like 40 reds and 30 yellows to go. So, I mean, there's still quite a bit of summoning left in this. There we go. There's a Vortex. That's what I wanted to see. So that's 2 Vortexes for the event. This is either going to be an A2 or A3. Either way, was A3 on this guy? Yes. The platform heals. That's big. Like that. All right. So there we go. We're getting some of our Vortex copies. That's what I wanted. I mean, it would be stupid at this point to swap over. Double flip that. We'll go like one more 10 pull, and then we'll finish out over on Wukong's banner. Just in case we do get super lucky and pull another legendary hero. We are not going to reach pity there. It's just, why not? We didn't get any Toad Bros, of course, so... Oh my good lord. We got a few heroes stacked up in there. Let's just finish these last like 50. Oh wait, we got more. Grab all this. Ooh. We'll finish all these out over here. Just in case we do pull a legendary, we'll get ourselves a Monkey Lord. And that would be kind of cool. First pin pull, be a Monkey Lord. No. That would be crazy. We did get a purple. Watch us get Vortexes over here. No, never. Oh, sweet. That's actually big. That's big for the account. All right. We kind of need someone like this for AoE damage. Things like Gear Raid 1, the Immortal Codex. This guy is going to be really great for, because he kind of His whole purpose is to die, and he's good at dealing damage when he dies. So that's great. I've been looking for one of those, and now we've got one. This is good. We'll have to build this guy up and get him running. I want to say, even in the artifact material raid, like later on, like 19 plus, he's actually really, really solid there because he has a very low cost, but he also deals a pretty tremendous amount of AoE damage, which is going to be very important for us. So definitely get this guy built up. That's pretty cool. I got one on my main account yesterday, which surprised me because I never gotten one before there either, and now I get one over here on the mini too. So that's definitely cool. Glad to see this guy pop up. I'm glad we swapped banners. That's quite lucky. All right, now let's see what else we can snag out over here. Is it going to be Toad Bros? It is not going to be Toad Bros. We get another Harpin. This has got to be getting close to A5 for our dude here. The only downside to him is he's not a piercer, so you don't get that extra range boost on him. Either way, I still think he can be good. Let's keep going. We'll pull until we're out of pulls, and then we'll swap over and do our yellows, and then we will do, oh yeah, our yellows are probably going to pull some serious Vortex copies. There we go. We got ourselves a Toad Bro. I feel like we've done our due diligence now. Had to get at least one. We got like 12. I think we actually pulled 10 words. 10 of those on the main account. So we have tons of Toad dudes. Not that I'll ever use them, but we've got them. Over here, at least we've got one. I think I already got one though. So we have 2. Another epic. We're getting pretty close to that last summon pull. We're at what, like 2,000 diamonds left. Another Voroth and Kalina. So we've got quite a few copies of this bro. Oh, we only got the 1 10 pull left, and we're out of 10 pulls. We're 50 diamonds short of pulling again. Gonna be a purple. It's not gonna be a Sun Wukong. That's okay. Like I said, we don't really need him, and getting the purples is kind of what I'm going for. Of course, we get Toad Bro. Is what it is. Whatevs. Go ahead, grab this out as well, and now we're gonna clean up some of these event rewards. I said over here. How far did we get? Oh, we actually almost fully completed it. Not that it matters. We don't need legendary skill crystals here. Bam. Pull those out. 33 legendary summoning crystals. Do we jump in and do those next, or do we do reds? Let's think. It doesn't matter. We can do 10 pulls on reds. So I think we'll just do the 10 pulls, then we'll swap over and do these last, just because it's quicker to do it this way. All right, so I don't remember what the rates are for this. Oh, are you kidding me? We got a legendary hero in the first 10 pull? Oh my gosh, I swear my main is gonna drop and it's not gonna get anything. It's just the way it's gonna work. Admiral Claw, obviously we won't use him here. I think I got him on my main last time we did Ancients. And he seems kind of interesting, kind of a weird kit. Another Alicia. Well, we used a bunch of soul stones to take ours to A5, and of course we pull another one, since we did that. That's just how it's gonna work. Super duper good epic hero, honestly, like probably one of the best epic heroes in the game right now. If you get this chick, she's worth a build, even if you use legendary heroes. She's just really good. Admiral Claw, he's kind of weird. He kind of like uses like a scorpion kind of move and slurps people into him. I guess the point of this is to pull people past his tank and then kill them behind the tank in case your tank is getting like overwhelmed and you need to kill the people in front of him. But either way, we're not going to talk too much about Mr. Cannon Bro here. We're going to drop another 10 pull. Can't believe our first 10 bomb had a legendary hero in it. That's just insane. So there we go. Are you? Oh, I say, no, don't you do it to me, game. Don't you dare. Alright, so we've got definitely more than an A5 Soleil going on here. And we've got another Aveline copy. Not bad. I do use her. She will be very useful in the artifact material raid, especially in those higher ones, because she does have a naturally high block, which is great. And her awakens aren't that bad. Gives her some healing, which is great, and some shields, which is also great. And then boost her defense when she's shielded, since she kind of shields herself and heals herself. That's all pretty good stuff to have together. So, very solid epic tank. Glad to get her. Soleil, we've already got plenty of them, so I'm not too worried about that one, but let's keep going. Another 10 pull here. Is it going to be all blues? Nope, it's going to have purples. No, it's going to have a legendary. I swear if this count pulls an Ingrid and my main does not, oh yeah, baby. All right, now that's a weird thing to get excited about, but I'm excited about it. We'll talk about him in a second. What do we get here? Oh my god. It freaking is. I knew this was going to happen. Now my main is going to pull, and I'm not going to pull an Ingrid on my main, and I'm going to be sad. Here we go. Mrs. Legs walking forward. I mean, it's cool to get her, and eventually someday, years in the future, look at, sheesh. She will be good if we ever do swap away from the epics only idea down the road when we kind of hit that wall where epics are no longer viable and we can't make any progress. We will have legendary heroes to fall back on for that point in the game, and she's a good one for that. She's probably one of the best heroes in the game because she's useful pretty much anywhere. We'll talk about her for a second, although if you played the game for a while, you probably know about her already. There we go. Lady Legs, Lord Hero for the Watchers, also part of the Arbiter faction. Boom. And we got a Wrath? Well, that's sick. 2 Lord Heroes and a Vargas. So we all know about Wrath. I do need him for Awakens, and that's great. Let's first off talk about Vargas here, because he's who I'm mostly happy with to pull, because I can use him as an epic. But he is the only epic, well, other than Eliza, who has invisibility, which is great, right? Being able to go invisible is super duper duper uber duper nice for the right side of Gear Raid 3, because if you can't be targeted, you can simply just do attacks constantly and not worry about that hero dying, which is nice, because that's the hardest part of that right side, is keeping a hero alive on that one tile. This guy can do it on his own, which is nice. His basic attack does 2 attacks in a row when attacking targets with HP lower than 30%, so he kind of has an execute built in. As heroes get weaker or enemies get weaker, he will kind of nuke them down a little bit faster. That's awesome. Kind of a normal run-of-the-mill basic attack here. He is part of the Piercer faction as well, which is great. That means his attack range does get longer. That is big. That's actually a really nice deal, because that allows him to attack those units that spawn at the very, very back on Gear Raid 3. Any hero that's not a Piercer with a Piercer Lord buff will not reach. So this is nice. That's very nice for that. Moving over, his ultimate, he consumes 50% of his current HP, removes the invisibility, but his attacks start dealing 200% damage when you get it maxed out, which is pretty crazy, and if they're bleeding, they take 25% extra damage. Now, this is more, I'd say, focused towards like boss nuking, because obviously it's a huge amount of damage increase, and you usually don't have bleed inflicted on people that aren't bosses. That's kind of a special thing that you do for bosses. You don't really bring that for just ads. But either way, pretty nice. Does nuke some of his health down, which is a little bit scary, but I mean, I think it's okay. Moving over, anytime he kills enemies, he boosts his attack by 15% for 10 seconds. It can be triggered one time every 25 seconds. Once you upgrade this, it's going to be 25% attack. It's only going to be a 20-second interval here, so 50% uptime on that is pretty nice when he's killing people, of course. However, he does do damage, extra damage in the arena, but one of his awakens, I don't remember which one it is. When Zealous Fury is triggered, so when he kills somebody, he restores 50 rage. Nice. Crit rate, nice. Hitting a bleeding target refreshes the duration of the bleed effect on them. It can happen one time every 10 seconds. So he can keep people bleeding a little longer than normal, which is kind of cool. Penetration, never bad. It must be his 5th awaken here. When his ultimate is triggered, he immediately activates Zealous Fury. So even if he hasn't killed anybody, so for a boss fight, he will get that 25% extra attack bonus for 10 seconds. Well, actually, until the ultimate ends. So he actually gets it for the entire ultimate's duration, which is really nice. That's a big damage boost. Really happy to pull this guy. Super cool. I was actually hoping to get one of these dudes from my Ancients. He was like one of my big goals. Now, Ingrid. Ingrid. Very interesting hero, Ingrid. So you've got this multi-target attack. You also have a single target attack. You have a range boost, continuous damage. Ingrid does pretty much whatever you want Ingrid to do with an insanely long attack range. So her basic attack in solar mode is going to be AoE damage, and in stellar mode is essentially single target damage. Once you upgrade her, I think that's what, 60% damage 2 times, so 120% of her basic attack, which is kind of nice. But yeah, so stellar mode is more of her single target nuking. Solar mode is more of an AoE damage, obviously to deal with a bunch of enemies at once. The thing is, when you deploy her, she's always in solar mode to start with, so she starts in AoE mode, which is great for tons of content, and her ultimate switches it. Now, once you upgrade her ultimate, you can switch her ultimate pretty much immediately, because she will have 100 initial rage, and losing 400 takes that down to 100, so you can instantly swap her into single target damage if you want to, which is great. That's good. But when she's in her solar mode, every 4 basic attacks turns the next one into solar flare. It does a huge amount of AoE damage to up to 15 enemies in a wide front area. That's huge. That's great. Gear Raid 1 is like, what's up? This is going to smoke those dudes. Stellar Mode, when she does 4 basic attacks, it gets Star Shower, which is 50% damage to one enemy in range 9 times, or 450% damage. That's a huge single target nuking hit right there. That's pretty crazy. And it happens every 4 basic attacks, which with high attack speed is pretty often. Moving over. This is kind of a passive that ties into that talent. So when you trigger Solar Flare, that's her every 4 attacks. Over here, you get a Solar Flare. Once you do that, you get a stack of Solar Energy. That just boosts damage right there, which is pretty nice. Star Shower does the same thing for your Stellar Mode. So you can build up these deals, which increase your damage by quite a bit, which is nice. Once you reach 5 stacks, you get a special attack here, Solar Overload. Or not really attack, I guess. It just reduces her attack interval, so she attacks faster, which is crazy. The faster she attacks, the more she pops these solar flares, which does a lot of damage. And the Stellar Overload just boosts her attack by 20% instead, which again is pretty crazy. That's going to be quite a bit of damage coming out. And then she also pops that huge amount of damage with her Star Shower. Pretty crazy for single target, pretty crazy for AoE. Pretty much useful anywhere in the game. So the last passive here, her Solar Flare, deals an extra 2 damage 1 time, equal to 100% of the hero's attack to enemies hit. So true damage cannot be avoided. That's great. So if she's hitting people with high magic resistance or something, it won't really matter. She will do true damage to them, which is cool. Each damage dealt by Star Shower has a 15% chance to burn and a 15% chance to inflict Radiant Erosion. Burning is a nice little dot. Radiant Erosion is an insanely strong dot, right? So, I mean, it can do some serious work. You do get that up to a 25% chance once you upgrade that skill all the way. Either way, very solid with, like I said, continuous damage, AoE, single target, just anywhere you want to use her, she's good, right? Boost her damage in the arena. That's why you always see her in the arena. Also, she's a Lord hero on top of all of this, so she boosts all your Watchers dudes. She increases their damage and healing bonus, which is great. After the Lord deals direct damage to an enemy, faction team members deal 20% extra damage to that enemy within 3 seconds. So, essentially, you can do 20% bonus damage if you're running a Watcher team. Like, Kagiri fits into this, which is pretty nuts. I believe Sun Wukong fits into this. So, your boss damage, even with a Watcher-based team, could go to the moon by running Ingrid. Really good hero. Super cool to pull her. Hope I pull her again on the main. But we don't know about that. Last 10 pull on the Ancients coming up. We're going to get some perp skis. That's good. See what we get here. A Light Lock. That's about the most disappointing purple you can pull from that. And a Lunaria. That is not a disappointing hero to pull from that. Very happy to see another one of her. That's great. I don't think I've awakened mine here at all. I would obviously love to get her awakened. She is my Piercer Lord. If you don't have a Piercer Lord, you want one. They're good. That buff of adding an extra attack range tile to other people in the Starpiercer's faction is awesome. It is so huge. It helps in so many different areas. Like, even like if you just got rid of the extra 10% buff to all your units, this alone is worth it. That's so good. But there we go. Got another one of her. Dark Moon Arrow, pretty solid. Does quite a bit of damage all on its own, which is great. Airborne units take more damage, so she does nuke airborne units, even though she's a magic damage and not a, what do they call it? Is it piercing or something? Yeah, piercing damage. So piercing does bonus damage to light armored units, which is the vast majority of your airborne units. And magic doesn't, so that extra damage coming from the passive here kind of makes up for it. Same here. She does extra damage to airborne units to make up for the fact that she's not a piercing hero, but she is a magic damage dealer. The Dark Moon Arrow is really solid. Her ult, I believe, it pops a bunch of them, does quite a bit of damage. She also restores her rage when she kills people with it, so she can kind of build this up relatively fast. So I'm feeling like Soulbound Arcana, probably a good set for the old Lunaria lady. Would be pretty good. Marks the target, so the increased damage taken. This does not increase damage to other units. It's the damage they take from her. I tested this to make sure, because like, well, that could be kind of nice. I mean, you could boost that up to a pretty hefty amount of boosted damage for your team, but it does actually only apply to Lunaria herself. So she does do bonus damage to the enemy, which is great, but it doesn't boost your other unit's attack on that same unit. So, is a thing. It's nice for her, not so much for the other people, but it's still pretty strong. Either way, boost her attack speed when she triggers Dark Moon Arrow. This is nice, because the more she triggers that, the faster she attacks, the more she gets her ult, the more she triggers Dark Moon Arrows. It kind of feeds on itself, which is good. Some flat attack, never a bad deal. Boost her a chance on her basic attack to trigger Dark Moon Arrow, which is nice. Her 4th Awaken here, some attack speed, which is great. And the 5th one is Dark Moon Arrow actually inflicts a mobilized state. It's not a very long duration, only a half second, but the fact that she can chain these Dark Moon Arrows together relatively fast means you can pseudo stun lock a single enemy and kill them relatively fast, which is pretty cool. So glad to grab one of those. That's pretty cool. Light Lock, not going to worry about him. Alrighty, let's go ahead and snag these out. Bam. Not going to use them, we'll just hold on to them for now. And now we move into the Divine Summons. There's a lot of summoning going on here. I didn't realize just how much this was going to be. I apologize. I apologize for this, but now we got to pull 33 of these bad boys one at a time. So this will probably take a little bit. Everything's going to be at least a purple hero here. A Vortex, that's an absolutely awesome first pull. Love to see that. That's great. That is our A3 or A4, I do not know. Sip some coffee while we get these things going. Dalen, I've got a few of her. Haven't really built her up yet. Maybe I will someday. Not too terribly worried about it right now. I don't feel like there's any area in the game where I'm like, oh, I just wish I had a Dalen for this. So there's another R-Death. This guy's going to be like A5 pretty much right out the gate. I want to say there's a 6% chance to pull legendary heroes with each divine summon. Once you reach another Light Lock, that makes sense. I think we've got ours to A5 already anyway. We'll just sell him off. But I believe it's at 12 summons, you trigger the pity timer to start, and by 20 summons, you're guaranteed to get a legendary hero, which is nice. On my main, I think I'm actually 19 summons deep on a pity timer, which really sucks. But at the same time, it's kind of nice because it guarantees me 2 legendary pulls with my divines. So when I swap back over there and do those, we will 100% for sure get 2 legendary heroes at least. Avert your eyes, children. You can look back now, it's over. But Livian, I'm not sure how we get the video for Livian. I do already have Livian. I'm actually not upset to pull her though. I do need to get mine to Awaken 5, and I only have like an Awakened 1 Livian right now, which is a little bit sad, but now we got another one, and that's good. I'm happy with that. Let's keep going here. Of course, it's purple. There we go. Heck freaking yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I need to get more of these guys. One of the best epic damage dealers in the game right now. Love to see this guy drop in. This is great. I'd love to get mine awakened all the way to 5 times. But super duper solid guy. Just great all around. He does tons of damage. He kind of cuts through defense as well, especially when he's awakened. His passive here kind of boosts his damage against a single target. The more he attacks that target, it stacks up. And then I believe was his Awaken 5. Yeah, once he reaches full stacks with that, he starts ignoring target's defense. He has penetration built into his kit. That stack actually goes higher to give him even more attack. He heals when he pops his ult. Really just all around, super duper great epic. Love to see that guy drop. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Yeah. Another Vortex, that's great. That's what I was kind of hoping for. We're getting this guy pretty close to A5 now, and that's good. That's what I wanted. Keep going, keep pulling, see if we can grab some more Deimos copies. I mean, that would be pretty sick. Of course, we're going to snag out 1,000,000 assaults. This dude. This guy pops up everywhere. I never really, I mean, I'll have to build him eventually for the Immortal Codex, but, I mean, every time you pull one, it just feels a little sad. Almost as sad as pulling a Cyclone, which we've already pulled one today. Either way, I guess we'll have him Awaken 5 if ever we do want to use him. We're going to have some copies, you know? And that's not, I guess, a bad thing. Either way, keep going, keep pulling. Another Vortex. This has got to be at least A5. I think we're done with Vortex copies now, which is nice. We're going to keep pulling, though we have 22 left to go. I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep going. Oh, there we go. We got ourselves a legendary. Who's it going to be? Venoma. Another Lord hero, which is kind of interesting. Esoterrus Lord. Of course, we can't use her because she is a legendary. But her Lord buff is kind of interesting. She reduces your team member skill cost by 25%. That's actually pretty nice. But it also boosts their rage when they're first deployed. So you get like a nice little skill synergy going on with her. I've got one on my main that I have not built because I'm not really, I feel like she's a weaker version of like Vierna. Vierna kind of does what she does, but better. Magic damage to one enemy, but she has a chance to do, I think, a Hex or something. Yeah, which is a 20% continuous magic damage to an enemy. Whereas Vierna does that with her basic attack, and it's kind of crazy. She doesn't really do that. She has a 20% chance to curse. The downside to curse is it doesn't work on bosses, so you can't use it on people like Simra to do anything really special there, which kind of sucks and makes her a little bit less viable, in my opinion, in a lot of content. If you added curse to the weakening of the Saw Blade or something, that would be kind of nice. Either way, she does do a little AoE damage burst to people in a kind of an odd range. It's kind of wide, but either way, still a decent amount of damage here. That goes up to, what, 560 damage. Pretty solid for an auto attack skill, though. That's the thing that I don't like. I don't like auto skills very much because you can't time them when you need them. That said, with a Soulbound Arcana, she would be popping that really, really fast and boosting your damage. So there's potential there, just not what I would consider to be like a top tier lord. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. Don't be like, oh, Wrath said this one sucks, so they suck. No, 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 no. Wrath is stupid. Oh, a back-to-back Lego drop. What? An Edith. We got a horse lady. Look at those little fingers. Look at that hair. It's floating. It's magical. But I don't really know. I think, is she in the knockback unit? I'm going to look at this. I think she is. Oh, she's a defense-based damage dealer. Well, that's interesting. When she's deployed, she gains, when taking damage, consumes a stack to reduce this damage. So that's kind of nice, I guess. Extra tanky. Each stack owned increases damage dealt and healing received. She can have up to 5 stacks at a time. Interesting. So a little bit of a long attack range for a tank. I mean, I doubt she's going to do a ton of damage. Maybe you can build her to be crazy on damage. I don't know. Yeah, so she has the knockback here. With quite a long range. So she can knock back units. I believe it's actually looking like it's showing the enemies that you boot back in Gear Dungeon 2. When these things die, they actually have like fatal damage that will kill everybody around them. So if you don't knock them back, they will just kill the units there, and it's a really annoying thing to deal with. She can help kind of boop those guys back out of range so it doesn't happen. Kind of nice. But there we go. She gains one of these every 40 seconds, the Equine Aegis, to reduce her damage taken when she takes damage, but also to boost her damage dealt when she's not taking damage. Kind of nice. If she takes no damage, it boosts her defense and physical damage reduction every 6 seconds up to 15%, which is nice. Obviously, that will go up as you upgrade her. Seems like a pretty solid all-around tank, especially for like Gear Dungeon 2. I'm assuming that's what she's kind of for. But there we go. That's pretty cool to grab double Legos back-to-back like that. Love to see it. 3? No, of course not. That would be crazy. It's getting too greedy. Another Salil. We have like an Awakened 7 Salil at this point. Not going to get too crazy about it. Let's keep dropping them, though. I could save these, I guess, for a future event with like a Deimos or something. Oh my gosh, another legendary hero. Shamir, there we go. It's about time. Actually, he looks kind of cool. I mean, he looks a little crazy, don't get me wrong. He looks kind of crazy, but he's got a cool looking fish, bro. You know? That's a pretty sick looking fish. I don't think you actually use Shamir for pretty much anything. He's kind of a meme when people pull him. They're usually unhappy. I haven't looked too much into him, so I'm not really sure necessarily why that is. I mean, I don't know. Apparently, not that great of a hero. We're not going to waste too much time looking at him because, I mean, I feel like the only thing you'll use him for is probably faction trials. Maybe there's some content in the game that he actually is good for. I don't know. But I feel like he's just outclassed by a lot of other people. Seems like nobody's happy to pull Shamirs. Kind of like pulling Orims. You know what I'm saying? No one's like, yay, Orim, I'm so happy. But either way, that is 3 legendary heroes, which is pretty insane. You can't really argue with the luck there. Another Estrid. Sad that I dumped all my stones into her and now I'm pulling all these content, or all these actually, I don't know if I did pump stones into her. I might have actually just got all 5 copies. If that's the case, I'm way less upset about getting more of them. You know, it doesn't bug me at all. Plus, like I said, we will need that purple stuff. Buying auto fights and stuff is actually huge for farming your gear. Hollow, that's an awesome pull. Always love to see more of her. Get her to A5 will be huge for the team. Get that extra rage regen faster. Big deal. Love to see it. It would be kind of cool to pull a Laurel. I don't have one on the account, and she is like one of the epic heroes that a lot of people use for a lot of content. So here we go. Another Vortex. I don't think we're worried about this. We've definitely got ours to A5 at this point. Probably like A7, A8. Not that you can do that. I wonder if they're going to ever increase that. To like, oh, another Nazim. Well, that's cool. I can get this guy awakened a little bit. Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to make like your Awakens go beyond 5. like in future content, or if they're just gonna upgrade like hero star levels. Like, are they gonna make like 7-star heroes as a thing? I feel like they probably will eventually. Is this gonna be? Is this a Lord hero? I don't know. I feel like it's gonna have to be because they got a video. You know, usually don't give videos to people that aren't Lord heroes. Just punched the soul out of that guy. Did you see that? Disgusting. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. I want to say she is, but I'm not sure. We'll see shortly. It is not a Lord hero. It's the chick that you can buy with dollars. Woo! But I never bought her with dollars. So either way, we'll look at her for a little bit. Ooh, look at that attack range. Ugh. Disgusting. Okay, guys, bing! It gets a little bit better there at the end. A fairly high attack stat. That's not too bad for AoE damage. But deals 100% AoE damage to one enemy. How? How does that work? I don't know. I guess we'll see if we play with her a little bit, how that actually pans out. Every 4 attack launch triggers a starburst, dealing AoE damage around in a large area and inflicting slow upon the targets. During the ultimate, starburst increases the range and total stars of star domains. So that's her ultimate, I believe. Just kidding, it's not. Am I stupid? Our domain. I don't know. Call me dumb. Oh, I don't know. There you go. We'll learn about it in the ultimate. It's not called Star Domain, it summons Star Domains. During the ultimate, that lasts for 20 seconds. Each attack summons a Star Domain at the enemy's location, dealing 50% AoE damage. After a while, the stars fall within the range of the Star Domain, dealing 30% AoE damage 4 times. That's actually pretty solid. This could be really big for Gear Raid 1 for us. I can see that being very, very strong. Love to see some magical AoE damage. Actually, my team's kind of missing that in a lot of cases, so that's pretty cool. Maybe get her upgraded. I really thought it was going to be a Lord hero because she had like the whole video and everything going on. But still cool to get one. I think she's a pretty solid hero. And I guess in the future we will find out just how solid she actually is. Go ahead and pull these last, we have 12 more to go. This guy's 100% A5'd by now. For sure, at least. Sip some more coffee here. Vortex. Yet again, I was a little worried we weren't pulling many in the blue summons, and I forgot that we're going to be pulling the yellows as well, so we're definitely going to get more copies. But there we go. Another holo. That's awesome. I don't know if ours is awakened here yet or not, but she definitely will be now at least twice, and that's great. I wonder why they don't let you pull 10 of these at a time. It's probably because, like, it takes so long to get them. Pulling 10 at a time would just remove all the dopamine. So we're going to do this one at a time 30 times. And we'll be doing this again tomorrow on the main account. So I've decided in my brain that I am going to summon again. Ooh, agreed. Nice. And I'm going to try to do my summons again. Use every diamond that I've got. I sold all my 3 stars off. We'll try to get another Wukong there because I do want to get him to A3. We'll see if we can make it happen. If we can't, we can't. But love to see another greed pull. I haven't awakened mine to A5 yet. I wanted to save my soul stones until after I burned all these big resources. Glad that I did. So we will be able to get this guy to A5 a little bit cheaper now, which is great because his A5 is actually really, really good. Go ahead and drop another one. We got 7 left after this. We've pulled, I believe, really? Toad Bro? Get out of here, Toad Bro. Go away. I think we already pulled 2 legendaries out of these. I don't think we've pulled 3. I think it was just 2. Imani. Don't think mine's A5 yet. We'll probably end up bumping her to A5 eventually and using her in Gear Raid 2. Just as like a quick deploy nuke, which will be nice for some of those waves. Keep going. 6 left. That's not many summons, but we've done a lot. Oh! Looks like we're getting ourselves a yellow piece here. Who's it going to be? It's raining. Who is this? Nocturne? Is that who that is? I don't know. I know the face, right? He's Artemis's twin brother. Probably. They both have kind of plague doctor masks going on. I think it's Nocturne. I could be wrong. I don't know. Don't quote me on things. I don't know these things. We'll see shortly. Oh, yeah. It is. Okay, I was right. Look at that. Plague Doctor. Awesome. All right. Oh, he's part of the Infernal faction. Didn't know that. I believe he's single target damage. Yes. And true damage. I did not know he had true damage in his kit. Nice. Magic damage to one enemy. Okay. Boosts his attack. That's a weird looking attack range. I wonder if that also plays into when he maxes his level. Oh, no, he doesn't get it. Interesting. He doesn't actually increase his attack range. Weird. For some reason, I don't know why, I always thought this guy was an archer. I mean, obviously the giant staff. I'm just stupid. Whatever. Either way, 180% of his attack plus 150% extra magic damage lasting for 25 seconds. That's pretty nasty single target damage. The damage boost goes up even higher. That's pretty crazy. That seems like a pretty solid single target nuke right there. When he pops this ult, I believe, he also boosts his attack speed and always targets the enemy with the highest defense. That actually makes a lot of sense because magic damage tends to do more damage to high defense enemies. They take less physical damage, so that's actually kind of a cool deal there. I kind of like that. The last one, each attack launched has a 15 that goes up to 20% chance to deal 380% damage as true damage. That's pretty high. Pretty cool hero. Obviously, we can't use him here, which is a little sad, but cool to grab him. That's nice. All right, keep going. 5 more left to go. We've gotten 3 legendary heroes in, there's like 30 of these suckers. Daemon, we can use this guy to nuke Tentacles and Void Rift. Pretty much is like the only use I've seen for him. So probably not going to be like a high priority build, but grab him out anyways. Keep rolling. Getting down to the last few summons here. Another Vortex. We got so many of these dudes now. I'm going to have tons of purple stuff to be using for auto fights, which is nice. That's not a bad thing at all. I'm not complaining. I like that. I need my auto fights because I really need to farm some gear. I'd love to get me some Infernal Roar and some Soulbound Arcana going and really kind of see the DPS these epics can put out when they're in like a proper DPS set, because most of my gear right now is just hodgepodge crap. It's got like fairly good substats and whatnot, but it's not actually good gear. So here we go. Last summon. We've got like 12 vortexes. What's this one gonna be? It's gonna be purple, and it's gonna be a Soleel. So we've got a lot of these dudes. I guess they're ladies, lady dudes. Tons and tons. Let's go ahead and take a peek, see what we pulled all today. Wow. That's not bad. 9 legendary heroes. That's a pretty sick amount of legendary heroes. I believe we could A1 our Twyla if we wanted to. Obviously we won't. We'll just leave them there because it's cooler that way. Got ourselves a few Lord heroes as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Lord heroes in our summons. That's pretty sick. Unfortunately, Elysia we don't need. I'm not going to sell her off though just because she's cool. Wrath we definitely needed. Lunaria, definitely need those copies. Tons of pretty cool heroes up here as well. 7 Soleils. We got a buttload of this lady. Definitely A5 for sure. 9 Vortexes. That's a bunch of those too. Agreed. Love to see Greed. Quite a few Voroths, actually. The Deimos, I'm super happy to see Deimos. 2 Hollows. Vargas was a huge pull. Aatrox was a huge pull. These are definitely going to make progress in the account a whole lot easier. And then we've got those guys. Quite a few of those dudes turn into diamonds and sell them back to the game later. I'm not going to move everybody out of my stash yet. I think that's good. We did get an achievement unlocked as well over here. What is that? Oh, 2 legendary orange heroes from 2 consecutive summons. Give me those 30 diamonds. I'll take them. How do we get 2,800 diamonds back? Oh, the event. That's right. We got a lot of diamonds from the spiritual altar. I forgot it gave you a ton of diamonds. So we could go back and summon more. I think we've kind of drained the necessary summons from the event. I feel like we've gotten everything we needed. All the heroes essentially on offer that we can make use of. We've got enough to A5, so that's great. No real reason to keep summoning here. It's going to save these up for the next time we see something. Hopefully a Deimos event rolls around. Real quick, I guess we can jump in and grab all these loots out as well. Give me some more summoning crystals. Knock that sucker out. But take a quick peek at our hollow. It is A1. Okay, so that's nice. I was kind of curious about that. So we can get her a little bit more flat HP with the A2. That's actually really nice to help keep her alive. Really good for your guild boss too, because he hits really, really hard. More flat HP on attack-based healers, really, really nice thing to pick up. And the skill cost going down 100 is definitely nice as well. Getting that more often. Her A5, of course, is also really good. It increases her amount of rage she can gain, essentially, so you can pop more ults the longer the fight goes on. This is great for guild boss content, obviously, but love to see that. A2 Wrath now with that pull there. Only an A1 Brienne. So, not too crazy there, but A1 Deimos is nice. Gives him a little bit of a self-heal, which is great. This might come really in clutch when fighting that artifact material rate of 18. I want to get that beat, but we're not quite there yet. We're close, and by close, I mean we're not even close at all, but we're close, right? We've got an A1 greed, soon to be an A2 greed, 5% attack bonus, which is great. But the reason we want this guy is that A5 here. Anytime it casts his ultimate, it does trigger both the slow and the AoE damage every single time it casts, and that's enormous, because having to depend on it flip-flopping between the two and never knowing what you're going to get can be annoying. Knowing that you're getting both is enormous. So that's a big pull there. Love to see that. Her first awaken here, we're just going to get an attack speed boost for Dark Moon arrows. Love to see that. That's always good. Definitely got this guy way beyond A5 now. A3 Aveline will be coming in. That's great. We already had an A3 here, so we've got plenty of this to go A5. That's nice. She's already A3? Did we get 2 copies of her? Are we getting her all the way to A5 now, I guess? One quick peek, and then we'll boogie. Boop, 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 boop. No, we only got 1, so it's A4. Either way, not bad. I'll take it. All right, though. That was a tremendous amount of summoning, some pretty solid luck, actually. Hopefully the main can repeat that luck when we go and pull our Divines and our Ancients. I would love to pull an Ingrid on the main account, please. Fingers crossed. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.